You want to know the 5 things I wish I had known before going to Gatlinburg my first time? Well, keep watching and learn more. Welcome to Bear Facts, where we explore the Smoky Mountains one bear fact at a time. Okay, so you're heading to Gatlinburg for the first time, or maybe it's been a little while since you've been there. You have your bags packed, made all the plans, and done your research, reviewed the best places to sleep, the perfect dining options, and booked your online tickets to shows and other attractions. You think you are ready to go. But wait, are you really ready? Because there are a few things that might surprise you about Gatlinburg that I wish I had really understood before heading there my first time. In this video, I will point out 5 things that might help you better navigate or at least prepare mentally for your trip. The first and probably most impactful thing that will force most people to lose their minds, turn their hair gray, and reconsider all of your life choices, especially why you decided to even go to Gatlinburg in the first place, is the traffic. But wait, you're in the Smoky Mountains. Why are we talking about traffic? That doesn't make any sense at all. But traffic is a real issue at times in the Smokies. It makes sense that the vast percentage of tourists who come to the Smokies and visit Gatlinburg are coming to see and experience nature and escape the traffic, noise, and people. They want to experience the majestic mountains, take in the amazing sights, and be embraced by the splendor of the dips, peaks, and valleys carpeted by miles of lush greenery. They are in the Smoky Mountains. Who wouldn't want to see them and experience this quiet? So what was that about traffic? I'm sorry to say that though there are vast acres of beautiful, pristine mountains just beyond the gates of Gatlinburg, to get to those gates you need to pass by Gatlinburg. But it's not just Gatlinburg, it's all of the Smokies. I hate to say it, but if you're planning to visit the Smokies, and I mean any place in the Smokies, expect traffic. At least 14 million people visit the Smoky Mountains each year, and the population is on the rise. With such amazing natural vistas and blue and green horizons, people are captivated and enthralled. And with all those visitors comes traffic. Lots and lots of traffic. The thing is that Gatlinburg is called the gateway to the Smoky Mountains because it is quite literally one of the few official entrances to the Smoky Mountain National Park. You can be standing in Gatlinburg, Tennessee 1 minute and hop over to the park and then be in the Smoky Mountains the next. Even the laws, regulations, and rules change once you pass those gates. The road that makes this possible is called 441. 441 is also the reason that Gatlinburg is an absolute nightmare when it comes to traffic. In order to really enjoy the top sights and visit the most popular trails, 441 is the easiest, well-maintained road to get to them, and it goes right through Gatlinburg. Now, the good thing is that there are bypasses to the Smokies if you're coming from 321 or Pigeon Forge. But if you're staying in the middle of Gatlinburg, well, it's not so easy to avoid. The 2-mile stretch from the intersection of 441 and 321 to the entrance of the park is one of the heaviest and most congested areas. This is where pedestrians have the right of way and motor vehiclists are nothing more than road decorations for people to enjoy from their dining perches or walking in the middle of the road. It's because there are so many things to see and do in Gatlinburg that all these people are even there. So be prepared, because if you're visiting Gatlinburg or staying in Gatlinburg, there's a lot of serious traffic to contend with. And running over tourists who stop in the middle of the road to take a selfie will be the best way to ruin your vacation. The best way to avoid this traffic is to use the bypass as often as possible. Keep traveling through Gatlinburg in the early hours or later hours, and avoid weekends and holidays. Now, if you're like me, that isn't possible. So the best I can offer is to encourage deep meditation practices or just enjoy the sights. Because while you are the entertainment for most pedestrians, the pedestrians can be your entertainment as well. That leads me to the second biggest thing I would have loved to know before visiting Gatlinburg. Parking is an issue. I'm not talking about paid parking. You will have plenty of places to park if you're willing to pay. But free parking? Yeah, not happening. Unless you hit the jackpot or get up before 8 a.m., it's very hard to find free parking. There are a few hidden spots, but even those places are not very close to the main attractions. They aren't on the main drag and definitely not easy to get into. When we visit, we almost always use the public parking ramp at the intersection of 441 and 321. It's only $10 a day, and they seem to usually have parking spots available. No guarantee on 4th of July or New Year's. Those days can be pretty tough to get parking anywhere. Surprisingly enough, the parking garage isn't as well used as you would think. It's at least half the price of the other parking lots, and most of the spots are shaded. Yet people seem to choose other lots over this one. I believe one of the reasons this garage isn't as well used is that it's at the bottom of the main stretch in Gatlinburg. It's a great place to get in and out of traffic, but if walking isn't your favorite thing to do, you might not like how far you have to walk to get to many of the places from the garage. And most folks aren't up to the 2 miles of walking uphill to see many of the attractions past the garage. It's easier to just pay the extra cost and park in the center of 441. Also, the summer, that heat can really get to you, and in the winter, yeah, it gets cold in the mountains, real cold. So I get why many people don't use the garage. Whether it's because most people don't know about the garage or don't like to walk, or it's cold, it seems that the parking garage is usually available. But it is the least expensive parking lot and the closest to Anakisa and Ripley's Aquarium. So if you are budget conscious or don't mind the walk, I suggest the garage. But if walking is difficult or you are in a time crunch, there are other places to park as well. Just be aware that if you want to park closer to the center of Gatlinburg, it will cost more. Expect prices between $15 and $20 a day for those spots, and also plan for price fluctuation. Holidays, fall, and weekends are often more expensive than other times, where the public garage stays the same price year-round. Also, if you choose one of these parking areas, you also have to remember the first thing I pointed out when starting this video: traffic. Getting in and out of these parking lots can be a challenge. Red lights are rare on this stretch of Gatlinburg, and pedestrians have the right of way every time. In fact, you can get fined for not letting someone go in front of you and take a selfie. You might get a real close hotel next to the best attractions or an awesome parking spot right behind the Space Needle, but traffic will be a real issue at times. Okay, so the third thing I wish I'd planned better for was knowing where the public bathrooms were and bringing my own toilet paper. Yeah, you heard me right, bring your own toilet paper. I actually did one of my very first videos on all of the bathrooms in Gatlinburg. I was so frustrated by the local businesses not offering restrooms that I put that video together to help fellow travelers with the same concern. If you're from a big city with a major homeless population, come from a coastal area or high tourist destination, you might be very familiar with this issue. The West Coast and other large cities have to bar their bathrooms and are constantly fighting the losing battle. And the Smokies are no different. Because of the rising homeless population, high tourism, and bears, yeah, they don't really use the bathrooms, but it sounded funny. The local businesses in Gatlinburg don't offer bathrooms to the public unless they are a large sit-down restaurant. Gatlinburg has a surprisingly large amount of bathrooms for the public to access. There is one in front of the public garage, another in the back of the village. You can find some in the back of Old Smoky, and another in the Terrace Shopping Mall. The easiest one to get to is behind the Gatlinburg visitor sign below the conference center. There are a few others, but if you're really curious, you can watch my video on them. I warn you, it's a little older of a video and not one of my best, but the information is still there. Anyway, Did you notice how often I said in the back of, behind, or at the top? That's because these restrooms are strategically placed to force you to walk around their shops and businesses. They are tricky to find and sometimes difficult to get to, especially the mall. Those bathrooms are way on the top floor and not easy to get to. Like I said, there are a few that are easier to get to. But if it's an easy one to get to, expect it to be a disaster zone and put on your hazmat suit, because some of them are not all that appealing. It's like COVID never ended and the paper towel shortage is still a thing. The easier a bathroom is to get to, the less likely it will be to find toilet paper. The later in the day is, well, even worse. You're less likely to find toilet paper and it's going to be more of a disaster. The busier it is, yeah, I think you can get the point. My suggestion to you would be to bring your own TP and assume they won't have any. That way, when you see they have some, it's a pleasant surprise. The next thing that kind of surprised me when visiting Gatlinburg is the food situation. I'm not saying that there aren't food places, but dining in Gatlinburg can be expensive and challenging for some. Let me take a step back and try to explain myself better. Like I said, there are a lot of decent food places and choices in Gatlinburg, but the choices you have are somewhat limiting. Whether it be a variety of choices to pick from, reasonable pricing, or healthy options, Gatlinburg can be stingy. Even if all you're looking for is quick and cheap, there aren't as many choices as you would think. Unless you want hot dogs, chicken strips, funnel cakes, or ice cream, there aren't many quick choices. You will need to look real hard for the cheap part for that request as well, because it's not happening. Unless you think that paying $15 for a hot dog and drink is cheap, food isn't cheap. And if you're coming from a Disney vacation, that would be considered a deal. But most people aren't. And consider $15 a steep price for a drink and a hot dog. I'm not saying that those are your only choices. Gatlinburg has a lot of places to eat, but variety isn't on the menu. This is a meat and potato kind of town. If you're like my husband, it's perfect. But if you're vegan or have any desire to eat healthy, you are in the wrong city. You won't find many places that are serving quick, easy, or cheap foods, and you won't find many that offer quick, easy, cheap, and healthy foods. In fact, I don't think they even exist in Gatlinburg. Anyhow, anyone out there seen that? I don't know. Please let us know if you have. I have seen them put a piece of lettuce under the mozzarella sticks, and sometimes you can get marinara sauce instead of ranch dressing. Does that count? Ugh, I don't know. But I'm not saying that fresh, healthy food choices don't exist. In fact, there are quite a few small gems we love going to. One of those places is Chesapeake. We love them for their fresh seafood, and if you want oyster bar, yuck, you won't get me touching those things. But if that's your thing, they are actually pretty well known for them. And we have had some good luck with the Parkway Diner. They have an excellent fresh salad bar. There is also the Greenbrier, known for their more upscale dining experiences for those who are looking for a place for a special occasion. All three of those places have really good food, but they are expensive. So if you're on a budget, plan ahead, because the cost of food will break you, especially if you have a family. Keep in mind that there is a McDonald's at the back end of Gatlinburg on 321 and a Food City where you can get groceries and healthy choices. But the vast majority of quick foods are not healthy or cheap. So the last and final thing I will leave you with today is this. Gatlinburg is expensive. I wish I could tell you otherwise, but it's true. It's an expensive city to stay in, eat at, shop through, and enjoy. It's an amazing city with lots of great things to see and experience, but those experiences come with cost. If you're on a budget, I suggest doing your research and looking for things and experiences that you will get the most bang for your buck. Look for discounts on websites. Buy your tickets ahead of time or search for discount websites such as Groupon to save money. One of the best ways to save money when visiting Gatlinburg is to visit during their off seasons. Even if you can make it during the week and avoid the weekends, you will find hotels and lodging to be dramatically lower costs. Hop on the trolley and see the city at no cost. The trolley drivers will talk about the city and answer questions as you pass by the city highlights. Though a tip would be appreciated, there is no actual cost for the Gatlinburg trolley. You can also just walk up and down 441. This can be entertaining, and if you score a free parking spot, it's free. Many people enjoy walking the river and enjoy Gatlinburg's back roads, or even window shopping. Find ways for your money to go further is the best way to tackle the expense of the city. Find local attractions that take more time to enjoy and will entertain you and your family longer. Anakeesta is one of those places. They can be pricey, but since they actually offer a lot for their base admission price, you can actually spend a good chunk of your day there and not feel gypped. This is one of the reasons I put so much time into reviewing Anakeesta. For the cost, which is high, you can actually get a lot for your admission. Uber Gatlinburg is another place that gives you more bang for your buck. So, if you're heading to Gatlinburg, be warned. Traffic can be challenging at times. Parking is expensive. Bathrooms can be a biohazard. Food choices are limited, and it can be expensive. But I'm not trying to scare you away. Far from it. We love Gatlinburg and all its annoying quirks. But sometimes being forewarned is the best way to tackle those quirks. I hope this video helped you plan your visit to the Smoky Mountains. You're getting an honest review from our personal experiences. But facts and things change, so please keep us in the loop if you learn anything new and want to share your experiences in the comments. Thanks again for visiting us at Bear Facts of the Smoky Mountains. Please click that like button and subscribe to our channel.